morning, Bucknutters. It is Friday, June 26, 2015. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning Five-ish. Joined this morning by the weary Alex Gleitman, who was on scene for us last night in Brooklyn, no sleep, to cover the 2015 NBA Draft. Alex, how are you feeling this fine morning?
I'm feeling great. Happy D'Angelo Russell landed in Los Angeles. I know that was one of his desired locations out in New York, so very happy for D'Angelo and his family, who certainly were in good spirits last night.
Yeah, set the scene for us. I have to admit, everything I had followed, and I'm a basketball nerd, I've been following this, everything we had heard up until mid-afternoon yesterday was that Jahlil Okafor out of Duke was going to be the number 2 pick to the Lakers. Then I saw a tweet from Ramona Shelburne, the LA-based ESPN, and said that she heard 90% D'Angelo Russell. Did you set the scene for us on what it was like? Is it a case here where you kind of all knew what was happening because you were there, or was there some shock in the crowd?
I don't think many people knew. I was on the floor kind of working, introducing myself to some people, talking to some people beforehand. D'Angelo's family certainly didn't know. I talked to Mr. Russell and D'Angelo both before the draft, and his family was, they were confident, obviously, he was going to go 2, 3, or 4. He wasn't going to sit there and slide, but they had no clue he was going to the Lakers. But I actually talked to a former colleague of mine that now works for in basketball operations for one of the NBA teams, and he said the word he was hearing was that the Lakers were going to take D'Angelo at 2nd overall. So I kind of put out the tweet at that point that the buzz on the floor was that the Lakers were going to take Russell, but obviously there's smoke screens and whatnot. So to answer your question, I mean, it was ultimately a surprise for most people. I kind of put it out there that I was hearing the Lakers were going to take him, and it gave the crowd a little bit of excitement for a second. They thought that Okafor was going to slip to the Knicks, but obviously that didn't happen, and Philly snatched him up. So, it was definitely exciting, and it was cool that, after towns that nobody really knew who was going to be taken and where.
I've been to those events before. They can be hectic, but there's a lot of experts on hand, and everyone's opinion is flowing. Based on kind of your vibe, reading the tea leaves and listening to the experts around you, do you think the general consensus was that the Lakers made the right decision at 2 to go with Russell over Okafor?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think everybody there kind of thought they couldn't have gone wrong. I mean, they either get a franchise big or they get, a guard who can learn from Kobe Bryant for a year or two, play the point this year, and then kind of become their superstar in the backcourt going forward. So I think everyone definitely thought that. I spoke a little bit with Jay Billis beforehand for the draft, and he obviously, what he thinks of D'Angelo Russell. He thinks he's kind of like a once-in-a-generation type of talent at the guard position, especially the way it's being played in the NBA. I heard Jeff Goodman saying good things about him. Everyone in the interview room, that was kind of eagerly waiting to see what was going to happen. They were all high on D'Angelo Russell. I'll tell you, every Knicks fan in that arena wanted D'Angelo Russell in New York. So I think everyone was kind of, the consensus was that was a great pick for the Lakers.
It looked like Russell handled everything beautifully. He seemed very calm in front of the media, great-looking outfit. He played well on TV. Did he seem as comfortable and just as sharp overall as he did on TV in person?
Oh yeah. I mean, even before the draft, I put it out there on Bucknuts and on Twitter that him and his family were literally so cool, calm, and collected. Just how he is out on the court, and he was just thrilled to be an NBA player. I mean, this is his dream his whole life, and he handles the media great. There are some other guys. I mean, I'll throw out Willie Cauley-Stein, who just. You interview him and you're like, did this guy go through any sort of training with his agent, talking to the media? I mean, it's crazy. D'Angelo, it just seems like he's naturally just a chill guy, and that's how he handled the whole thing. And speaking of that suit, he gave a lot of props to Ohio State. He said how much Mata, honored his promises and took care of him, and how much he appreciated the staff and the guys he played with, and that's why he wanted to, attribute his suit to Ohio State.
Great looking suit. Did you order yours yet?
I didn't order mine. I'm getting married at the end of July.
That was my point.
I might have to switch one up. Yeah.
Obviously, no one else got picked from the Buckeyes. Was there any other buzz about those guys, the Amir Williams and the Shannon Scotts, Sam Thompsons of the world, or does it really look like? I'm sure some of them will get a chance to go free agency, but they have to be thinking Europe at this point.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of taking it as they go. I can't speak for Amir as much as Shannon or Sam. I know those guys are all lined up for the summer league. They got not only a team to play with in Orlando, which is the first summer league, but they also got a team to play for in Vegas, which is the second. So they're certainly going to get their fair share of looks. It's almost better, I think, in some situations to be an undrafted free agent versus a late second-round pick, because you kind of get to pick your situation and maybe pick the best situation for you. I think both of those guys are going to kind of go into the summer league, hope to really perform well, and kind of do maybe what Aaron Kraft did, and either, and then get invited to training camp and see what happens from there. I know that they wouldn't want to do the route that Lenzel Smith did, which was enter the D-League draft, because that's not really how you make any sort of money in the D-League. Not that they pay you a lot as it is, but I think if it was a situation like where Aaron got signed for training camp and then didn't make it, but was still assigned to the affiliate. He was one of the highest paid players in the D-League last year. I think that's a situation maybe they would look at, because it's a little bit easier to get put into the NBA at that point. But I think you're right. I mean, I think both of those guys are having their agents obviously explore whatever situations they can over in Europe. They can make a nice chunk of change, just like what Quentin Ross and Deshaun Thomas and David Lighty and John Dealer are doing over there, and perform really well. So and experience really cool things. So obviously we're pulling for those guys, to make it, but the odds are certainly against them.
Yeah, I actually spoke to former Buckeye and Jordan Seibert yesterday, and he already has a commitment from a team before the draft to go play in Orlando at the Summer League. So the Orlando Summer League and the Las Vegas Summer League are televised. You will see some Buckeyes in there that will definitely get their shot. A program like Ohio State usually gets you an invite to something like that in the Summer League. So they'll get a chance to play. You can actually watch them on TV and follow it. So we will report on those as well. Would not be Alex Gleitman if we did not ask him a little bit about football recruiting. I put this theory out yesterday, Alex. I'm going to tell you what you think of it. I think they actually have a chance at Rashawn Gary, and let me tell you why. That's because he's a hat dance guy, which means he's going to announce at one of the All-Star games or on signing day, which means he's going to get to witness the season ahead. He's going to see the Buckeyes win another national championship. He's going to see Adolphus Washington and everybody leave the interior of the line. He's going to see he could step in with defensive ends Nick Bosa and Jonathan Cooper. And there won't be a team in the top 5 or 6 that can offer up playing time like Ohio State or the opportunity to shine. Am I convincing myself because I want to, or does that sound like something realistic to you?
Dan, he visited Ohio State with his mother yesterday, and I need to check in. I was being at the draft. I didn't really get a chance to check in with sources, to see how that trip went. I know he spent the day with Urban Meyer and Larry Johnson, some other coaches, a bunch of players, and I know that it was technically the first day of vacation, but all the coaches made sure they stayed back. And their sole focus yesterday, literally their sole focus, was Rashawn Gary and his mother. So they were literally giving it everything they possibly had. But going into the trip, sources at Ohio State inside the Woody are telling me that they felt it was a bit of a long shot to get Gary. So I'll have to speak to them. But when you have that in Ohio State, obviously they're competent guys. They think they could get everyone once they get them on campus. So they were pleased to get him on campus. They know that getting him on campus, they do have a shot. But at the same time, going into that trip, they're feeling it's a little bit of a longer shot. I have to go with that at this point. I mean, a lot can change, as you said. But, if I had to put my crystal ball in today, I'd put it in for Michigan. Close behind that, I think I'd have Auburn. I think the Buckeyes will be a school maybe in the top 5 or 6 the whole way. Maybe they'll get an official visit in the fall, which would be big, especially get them on campus for that Penn State game at night. But for now, I'm not liking Ohio State chances for Rashawn Gary. I'm liking him a lot better for Antoine Jackson.
There you have it. He's versatile. One night he's at the draft. The next morning he's answering questions about a fellow New Jersey native. And later on this morning he'll be taking a yoga class. Alex? Is it not yoga?
It's not yoga, but that's fine.
All right, man. We appreciate Alex. Have a great one, brother.
You too. Thanks.